Master planning, it's different from designing a house or an office, say, or a theatre, where you have a client. There's a client as an architect, and the relationship, and the building is created out of the relationship between those groups. In the case of a city, it's much more complicated because, yes, there is a client, yes, there is an administration, but in reality you have many clients. The client is the city. So I think it's really important that the process is as open as possible and receptive to the input from everybody. That makes it a difficult challenge because you get lots of messages, there's lots of noise. But I think we know that that process inevitably enriches. The more you understand the needs of the city and the citizens, I think the better the design. So this particular exercise we've just been through is about finding people who are not working day to day on the project, who are from the outside of the project, outside of the process, who come in and say, what have you been doing and have you considered this? And in this case we had this experience. So in a sense it's like an advisory group, but it's an advisory group that is able to ask very difficult questions and say this is not good enough, or you really should be spending more time on that. So for me it's part of a process that's really about opening up the design process, so that on the one hand we're listening to as much the needs of the city, but also we're having people come in from the outside of the design team who have experience with similar projects around the world and who can really challenge us to make sure that this is the best possible project we can do. At the first workshop we've spent a lot of time catching up with all the work that's been done over the last 6 months, a year. We've talked specifically about mobility, which is obviously a very important issue and is, I think, at the head of everybody's list of issues at the moment. Big changes are happening in the whole mobility paradigm for cities. We've also talked about sustainability. We've talked about the whole, what we're learning from the social engagement process, which is fascinating. We've been looking at the needs of the station, because historically the station has not been part of the project and now is at the heart of the project, and that's a very big change. And we've also been looking a little bit more depth about how the city has grown. And what's fascinating is how the city has kind of grown around this site, and this site now sits, and it really is like a wound. It's like a cut in the city, which is empty. So we've touched a lot of issues. We've reached some, I wouldn't say conclusions, but we've certainly identified some areas where we need to go away and do some more work.